पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
That was a beautiful.
हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। जय निताय गौरंग 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 जय निताय गौरंग। जय कृष्ण बलराम 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 जय कृष्ण Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe. Yeah, Mataji, I'll share this kirtan today with you. Hare Krishna. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, there's still 5 minutes to start, so I'll not start. Let's have a small discussion, maybe some questions from yesterday. Anybody still has questions from yesterday, you can raise your hand. I hope you people know how to raise hand. I'll just share my screen so that I can show you that option. In case you don't know how to raise your hand, you have to come over here and then you can answer yes, no, or go slower and so on. And if not, you can, there's also an option to raise your hand somewhere here. Okay, yeah, I can see that 2 hands are raised. Yes, Srinivasan Prabhu.
Hi, Namaste, Ji. Thank you for this course. I like it. One of the questions you asked yesterday was you had those 5 reasons why Arjuna is laid out and said, I'm not going to fight my cousins, my uncle, my family, my grandfather, etc. The one reason, I mean, the whole purpose of our existence is based on dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So the fundamental question that I think Arjuna is facing is, what is his dharma? And he's not able to answer that. I think that's the reason why he feels it's not his place to fight against Duryodhana and his army. Do you have any comments on that?
Or rather, Prabhu, you can say that it's not that he doesn't know what his dharma is, but he wants to, he's more in the mode of karma. He wants to enjoy. He does not care what his duty is right now. He wants to enjoy, and he says there is no enjoyment. I feel sorry. He's making so many excuses just to make, just to have more and more enjoyment. Yeah, dharma, artha, kama, moksha is stuck in that confusion. Exactly, and Krishna is going to comment exactly on this today. In I think 5th or 6th slide, we are going to deal with. No. It's going to be last but 3rd slide. We're going to hear from Krishna what to do with this dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Yeah, you have hit the point. Yes, Prabhu. We will get there at the end of this session. Anybody else? Yeah, anybody? Yes, DGVR, Prabhuji, Mataji. Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Rohan sir, I am 19 years old. I'm BTech first year. I'm very interested in Bhagavad Gita, learning Bhagavad Gita. I also know some slokas like Ed Bhavam Tad Bhavati. I follow that one. And I know Tastatyam Indriyanyat.
Where is from?
From in Bhagavad Gita, I have an Bhagavad Gita. I bought Bhagavad Gita from Bhakti Vedanta Trust. I mean Bhagavad Gita as it is.
That's wonderful.
In weekly one time I learn some slokas, sir, when I am free.
Sir, is there any program in your college where Bhagavad Gita is being taught? Because in my college that used to be there. When I was in my, are you a first year BTech?
Okay.
Are you a
Yes,
first year?
I am first year BTech.
When I was in my first year BE, Prabhu, temple president of ISKCON Mangaluru, used to come, and even me at your age itself, I got attracted to this whole thing, and here I am now. It's a wonderful age. I think that's a very good age to start. There is no
Yes,
wrong age to start. Any age, right now is the right time to start.
yes, sir. But everyone think that Bhagavad Gita should read at the, I mean, in old age.
Yeah, we are going to deal with this dilemma again. I think in 4th or 5th chapter, I'm going to take this example. It's
Yes.
yeah. Just stick with us. We will come to that in a systematic order. But it's a myth that you have to take it up at the end of your life. No, because who knows when is the end of our life? Especially during this pandemic situation, I can boldly
Yes.
say nobody knows when this is the end. Because
Yes, yes.
if I'm honest with you, I'm not even sure if I'll be able to finish these 18 days with you people. Because who knows? If it's all up to the Lord.
I see.
Yeah, but
Everyone
stick.
thinks like that. Everyone thinks like that only. I'm saying we should not think like that. Everyone should read, and is it? I mean, children also should read. I'll say to everyone,
Yes,
including my friends. I mean, I promoted. I mean, I shared this link to 50 members of my friends. They also joined this through this link. And I have silly doubt. Can I ask? I mean,
at the end, yeah.
where is the original Talpatras of Bhagavad Gita?
Huh?
Original Talpatras. I mean,
Okay.
ancient.
Let's discuss this at the end. It's 9, and shall we start now? Is that okay?
Yes. Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
So let us start with a question from me. I will ask a question now. Seema Mataji at the end. I'm really sorry. It's 9:01, and it's going to be a really long session today. If I don't start right away, it's going to be difficult. So here's a question. Answer me with yes and no. I hope you know how to use it. What would you rather have? A flattering friend who is always going to flatter you, keep on flattering you, saying, why are you are great, this and that and that and this, or a enemy who is cunning, who is your enemy and his intentions are open in front of you. He doesn't like you, you don't like him, he wants something bad to happen to you. What is better? A flattering friend or a enemy who is out to get you? What do you think is better? You can give me okay, everybody is saying enemy. Enemy is better. In a frank enemy is better than a false friend. Yeah, that's what we're going to deal with today. So let's start. This chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita is known as Gita Saramsha, summary of Gita. See, from Krishna, it's given to Arjuna. Quick recap. We saw yesterday that Arjuna has made 5 excuses, and I'm sure everybody remembers the 5 excuses. But what I did not stress on yesterday is categorization of these excuses that Arjuna makes. So let's quickly see. Here are the 5 excuses, and just give me 1 second. Just made notes which I want to refer to. Yeah, so first he says compassion. I feel compassion for them, and I cannot raise my weapon against them because out of compassion. Then he says there is no enjoyment because if they win, well, there is no kingdom, and if I lose, there is no them. So without them, how can I enjoy anything? There is no good outcome either way for me, he says. Then he says it's a sin. If I kill so many people, the whole civilization is going to get disrupted badly, and I'm going to be at the end, I'm going to be blamed for all of this. And I don't want to be a part of this, Krishna, especially not in front of you. Then he says, again, family traditions are going to be destroyed, and it's going to lead to bad population and crime rate and all that. It's going to become a, Kalyug, literally Kalyug will start right now, he said. And then he says, indecision, I'm not able to decide what to do. So we can see that he has compassion. He has a moral dilemma there. He's like, I feel so sorry for them. I cannot lift my weapon. Then he says no enjoyment, which is a sensual dilemma. He says there is no sense enjoyment out of this for me. Then he says it's sinful. He thinks about morals and ethics. Then he says family tradition, which is societal. Then finally he says indecision. He says I'm not able to decide, so I'll not make a move, which is mental dilemma. It's a psychological dilemma. He's not able to decide. He's not able to take the right decision. So out of this situation, finally in the 7th shloka of second chapter, Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho pada swabhava prachami tvam dharma samudha cheta yachreyasya nishchitam ruhitan me shishyas teham shadimam tvam prapannam. I've underlined the important word here. He says, Shishyas teham. He says, now I'm confused about my duty. One of the Prabhus in the beginning was saying, he's confused about his duty. Yes, that's what Arjuna says. He says, I'm confused about my duty and I've lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I'm your disciple. Shishyaste aham. He says, Shishyaste aham. I am your disciple. Guide me. Tell me what to do. Instruct me. Now I'm a disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. That's the attitude. And one Mataji yesterday, she was saying that जाके दुर्योधन को अगर बोलते तो कुछ फायदा होता. अर्जुन तो बहुत अच्छा बच्चा है. Yes, she was exactly right. Arjun is very अच्छा बच्चा, and that's why he has surrendered. He says, Shishyasте ham. I surrender to you, my lord. Please instruct me. And when someone comes like this, don't you feel provoked to give the knowledge? Krishna just cannot hold back. Krishna just cannot hold back. So all the knowledge he has is going to now give to Krishna. He's not going to hold back. But Duryodhana on the other hand, he doesn't want to listen. When somebody doesn't want to listen, why would you want to bother them? A good teacher in everybody, whoever is in college or whoever has been through college knows this. A very, very senior, respectable teacher, in the back of the bench, in the back benches, there'll be always kids making noise and disturbing the whole class. Of course, if it becomes a disturbance, the teacher is going to intervene. Unless the student is disturbing somebody else, the teacher is not going to get involved and say, hey, get out. He's not going to make a scene. He's going to try to manage the situation without making it escalated. That's what Krishna does. Duryodhana is not bothered. Duryodhana doesn't want to listen. So why should I waste my energy on it? And another common question is, why was Arjuna chosen to give the Jnana of Bhagavad Gita? Why not, other Pandavas? Why not the other 4? Why not Bhima? Bhima was so strong. Why not our Yudhishthir Maharaj? He was so knowledgeable. He would ask even better questions. Anybody knows why Arjuna was particularly chosen out of all? Yes, anybody knows why Arjuna is the best? Okay, he was his favorite. Okay, that is. Yeah, but are you saying Krishna did not like Yudhishthir Maharaj that much? Give me one perfect reason why Arjuna is the best receiver for Bhagavad Gita. Anybody has a theory? You can raise your hand. I'll ask you to unmute yourself. If not, I'll just give you the answer. Is that okay? Yeah, the reason is that nobody else is in this dilemma. Nobody else has 5 excuses. See, let's start with Dharmraj. Let's talk about Yudhishthir Maharaj. He knows what is his duty. He is not confused about his dharma. He is not saying that I am confused about my duty. He knows it's his duty to fight the war. He is going to fight the war because it's his duty. Bhima, on the other hand, he wants to fight the war. He is hungry for war. He's like, just 11 Akshwani. You should have brought, I don't know, 5 more Akshwanis. I will fight till the last breath. He was unstoppable. He didn't have the question of whether I should fight or not. Nakul and Sahadev will obey their elder brothers. If Yudhishthira Maharaj asks them to fight, they will fight. They don't have that, free-spiritedness that we call it today. Arey, I don't want to do that. Free-spiritedness they didn't have. But Arjuna, on the other hand, being the spoiled boy, you can say, was naughty, a little bit naughty. So he has that will, he has that inquisitiveness, and he has that free-spiritedness to question. So Arjuna is going to ask this question. Krishna knows he will fit this role. of being confused, and that's why the Lord chose him. So he has completely surrendered now. We can see he's completely surrendered, and the Lord is looking at him with all his kindness and love. So takeaway from this has to be that not accepting that there is a problem is itself a bigger problem. Like, let's take a simple example of someone who's someone who likes to smoke cigarette. If he is not willing to accept that he's an addict, how can you ever even think of rehabilitating him? It's not going to happen. First, the person has to accept. First, the addict has to accept that he's addicted. Only then is there a chance for him to get rehabilitated. Accept the fact that there is a problem. The problem is half solved, and that is what Arjuna is doing. He says, Karpanya dosho pata sobha. I am now confused. I'm not able to decide. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanam. Please guide me what to do. So before we get into Bhagavad Gita, let's first take this thing out. I believe what I see. Many people say, I believe what I see. Well, it works if your vision is impeccably perfect. Like, let's take for example, let's take this example, which is right here. Let's try to understand who is Krishna with this question. What do you see? You see clouds and you see the sky, you see the hills and all that. But if somebody says, I see a parrot, you would call him a stupid person. Can anybody see a parrot here? Yeah, can anybody see a parrot? I'm sure nobody can. Yeah, because no, you cannot, because there isn't one. But as you get closer, you can see that there is a hilltop, and on the hilltop there is a tree. And as you get closer to the tree, you will see that within the leaves over there, there is a parrot eating a fruit. So there are many stages of understanding the truth. Another example that I was thinking of, when kids are very little, when I was very little, I used to think my father is the boss of the world. So I used to think, oh, my father can control everything. Every kid is like that. I'm sure everybody is the same thing. Yeah. If you agree, you can say yes. Everybody was like that. My father is the boss. Then as the kid grows up slowly, he sees that, okay, father is not the boss, mother is the boss. And then, around high school time, he comes to know that father is under mother's control. And he says, oh, I was wrong. Mother is the boss. Yeah, happened with everybody, happened with me. But then when he becomes an adult, he's finished his college and he gets a job or something. Then he comes to know nobody is boss. Everybody is a servant in this world. Everybody is somebody's servant. Husband is wife's servant, wife is husband's servant. Everybody is somebody's servant. There is nobody is boss in this world. There are many ways of understanding truth. The kid is not wrong in saying his father is the boss, nor is the a little older kids wrong in saying mother is the boss. There are different levels of understanding the truth, but ultimate truth is that nobody is boss in this world as of now. So related to this, there is a shloka which says, Vadanti tattva vidastatvam yajnana madvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhavaniti shabdite. The learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagwan. Like we see in day-to-day, every day we see people who are like, you have to hope for it, you have to wish for it, and the universe will deliver it to you. They say there is some energy in the sky somewhere, that's light, it comes and it's so bright and all that. Yeah, they are looking at the torch from here and they cannot see anything but light. Yeah, that's one level of understanding. It's called Brahman, the Brahman Jyoti. They say Brahman Jyoti at that level. Yeah, they're not wrong. But then as they go closer and closer, that they start to see that shine is within me as well. Paramatma resides in my heart also. That shine that is there over there, it's here also. That level he has come to Paramatma realization. And then with association with devotees and study of Shastras, he comes to know that there is even beyond this. The Paramatma has a personality and pastimes and features. And at that level, he has come to Bhagwan understanding. That is the ultimate final understanding of the truth. Now, why I'm stressing on the word Bhagwan, let's come to know. Let's find out. What does the word Bhagwan mean? We use the word Bhagwan every day. We use it left and right. I mean, if not Bhagwan, you use some version of it, right? Does anybody know the definition of Bhagwan? Somebody, you can raise your hand and I will ask you to unmute yourself. Define Bhagwan for me, please. Anybody? Bhagwan, we keep saying Bhagwan. Anybody knows the definition? Yes, Raghu Mataji. What is the definition of Bhagwan?
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Bhagavan is Sat Chit Ananda. So, put it simply.
Yeah. But what does the word, you're right, you're not wrong. But what is the definition of the word Bhagwan? What does it stand for? Any idea? Let's see, shall we? There is a shloka about this also in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry, it's in Vishnu Purana. It in the 6th canto, 5th chapter, 47 shloka is this. Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yashashashriya Jnana vairagyayascha Shannam bhaga iti angana. Bhaga, the word bhaga has 6 bhagas. God is someone who can control Panch Tattva. A good engineer can also control Panch Tattva, Mataji. At least 2 or 3 or 4 of those tattvas a good engineer can also control. Chavi Mataji. So, no, Pancha Tattva controller can be any ordinary person. I can control fire and water. If your mothers at home, they control fire and water and they make food. There, can you say mother is God? Okay, I'm getting into controversial debates now. Let's just stick to scriptures. Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya shashriya Jnana vairagyascha Shannam bhagaiti angana. So, what this says is, what this shloka tells us is Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Before going there, let's see Bhaga. Bhaga has 6 bhaga. When you say the word Bhaga, it has 6 divisions under it. So what are those 6 divisions? Aishwarya, and the keyword being samagra, not little bit, not a lot, entirety of Aishwarya. What is Aishwarya? Wealth. Entire wealth should be his. Is there any such person? Yes, it is Krishna. His wife is Lakshmi. Or you can say Vishnu. He is Lakshmi Pati. No, nobody is more wealthy than him. Even the wealth that is in your hand is his. It's given by him to you. It's your turn to spend. Nobody has money. It's your turn to spend it. You have some 10 rupees. You spend it. Now it's his turn to spend it. Just keep circulating. Whom does it belong to? It belongs to the Lord. Viryasya Shashri. Virya, strength. Nobody is stronger than the Lord. At the age of 7, he lifted Govardhana hill with the pinky finger of his left hand, and not just lifting, balancing as well. He showed such feats that nobody could imagine. Even great yogis, after achieving all the siddhi, also they could not have that much power, but Lord had it in him because it is his. Yashasha means fame. Talking about fame, how many of us remember our forget grandfather, father's birthday? How many of us remember? You can answer. You can respond with a yes or no under the participants, or okay, I'll open the chat. Does everybody here remember your father's birthday or your mother's birthday? Is there anybody who doesn't? Fine, let me go one stage higher. Okay, one stage higher. Does everybody remember their grandfather's birthday, your paternal or maternal? Either one of them. Do you know their birthday? Am I still getting yeses? Okay, I started getting no's. No. Just 3 generations ago, and we don't remember their birthday. Okay, there is rarely a few people know. That's nice. But Krishna's birthday, does anybody know Krishna's birthday? Are you sure that's a no? Heard of Janmashtami? You know his birthday. How is that? That is fame. Yashasha means Yasha means fame. There is no one as famous as him. Even in our own family, my children or my children's children will never remember. Sometimes I myself forget my birthday. Don't we? Don't we all? This year, especially being locked down, just came and went. Didn't feel like anything. Our own birthday we forget. Our children are going to forget our birthday. But Krishna's birthday you remember. Although you have not, you're not a trained person, but still you know Krishna's birthday. You know Krishna's name. You know Krishna's form. You know Krishna's pastimes. That is Yasha. That is fame. Nobody has like Krishna. Krishna's birthday is celebrated all around the globe. It's celebrated in Pakistan. It's celebrated in China, Dubai, Australia, Russia, any country, any corner of the world. ISKCON Janmashtami is celebrated. Yasha. Shriya, beauty. Krishna's beauty is unmatchable. There is a verse in Brahma Samhita. It says Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha. Kandarpa means Cupid. Manmatha, or also known what Kamadeva. They are known to be extremely beautiful. And Brahma is saying, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha. Wow, I don't know how much a crore is. I think 10, I think 1 million, 10 million. 1 Koti Kandarpa, if you put together, they can maybe match Krishna, is saying. Who is saying? Brahma himself. That's unbelievable kind of beauty. If you see him, you will faint. That's why he's not come here. But beauty is unmatchable. All beauty is. Then we come to another question I had yesterday. Somebody, one of my classmates asked me this question. He asked me, how long was Bhagavad Gita spoken? Are you there, Sarvesh? If you are here, can you raise your hand and maybe ask a question so that we can get it over with? Okay, his question was, he saw in some TV show or some cartoon or something, he was saying that, did time stop when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Was time stopped? Was it a secret information? And he was asking me many such questions. I said, I'll answer you tomorrow. Actually, the time was not stopped. In the middle of the battlefield, Arjuna and Krishna are having just a simple conversation. A very, very simple conversation they were having. Is going to take us 18 days to even get some rough idea of. It's going to take us 18 days of teamwork to wrap our mind around the thought flow of what conversation these two friends were having. Now imagine the kind of knowledge Krishna has. That is Jnana. Jnana. Krishna has all the Jnana. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita some 5036 years ago. It took him some 47 minutes. He spoke for 47 minutes. Arjuna understood everything. And we will try for 18 days, and some of us are not going to understand all of it. Even I cannot say that I have understood all of it. That is the kind of Jnana. 5,000 years after he has spoken, also people are studying and deriving benefits from it. That is knowledge. We keep talking old and nobody is getting benefited. Vairagya is Chaiva. Vairagya. Apart from all this, he had immense amount of renunciation. Vairagya. He was not attached to anything. He was always leaving and going. He was not attached to anything. And nobody had that kind of vairagya. We will discuss that further as the chapter goes on. Shannam Bhagavitengana. If all these six somebody has, he is Bhagwan. And we use the word Bhagwan left and right. There is no other Bhagwan. There is only Krishna. There is only Vishnu. So, about when we talk about Bhagwan, this thing comes up. We admire some people more than others only because of seeing one of Krishna's opulence in them to a very faint extent. Like Aishwarya, somebody is rich, somebody is knowledgeable, somebody is beautiful, somebody is strong, somebody is famous, somebody is, renunciant. In Kali Yuga, we are not attracted to somebody who is a Vairagi. We actually fear Vairagi. This is the age of Kali Yuga, but it is actually a very attractive feature. But all these features that Krishna has unlimitedly, just a drop of it, if somebody has, they get thousands and thousands of followers. He's a little bit good looking, done, his life is set. He's a little intelligent, done. Little strength he has, he becomes something, he becomes a sports star. This little bit we like in people. But seeing these limited amount of this opulence makes us admire them. But majority of people in Kali Yuga, what happens? Krishna has so much of it, and we see that we can never match Krishna. He has immense amount of strength, immense, unlimited amount of strength, knowledge. Well, I can never match him. Hence, we tend to reject him. We say, no, I don't accept. That's just our, inferiority complex. So, speaking of that, we have two presentations to do today, and before I start with this, I have to do that presentation. So I'll just jump to that very quickly. Just give me 1 second to load it up. This is the presentation of soul. This hopefully will prove to you that am I the body or am I the soul? Yes, this is visible. So let's watch this video a little bit.
So we are now going to interview Sophia. Obviously, these are programmed answers that she's come up with, but it'd be fascinating to see how she actually interacts with us.
Yeah. Sophia, do you know what program you're on?
Yes. Good morning, Britain. One of the hottest morning news show in Britain. And I don't mean the weather.
She is smart, isn't she?
Welcome to Britain. It's lovely to have you with us. It's slightly disconcerting, but what do you think of the country so far?
I think Britain is brilliant. Splendid architecture, art, technology, and of course the people.
So was anybody impressed or, confused whether this is a person or a robot? Anybody? Like, I cannot believe that's a robot. I think that's a human. Anybody got confused like that? I'm sure nobody was. Yeah, chats are open now. Because
I loved meeting the people at London Tech Week at CogX.
You are a little freak, aren't you? This is great.
But you see, I feel we're just being rude to.
what were the similarities? What were the differences? We can go on and talk about so many similarities and then again, many differences. Now, let us get to the point. Feelings and emotions cannot be just chemicals, because I'm a biotech guy. I'm doing my MTech in biotechnology from IIT Guwahati, and I can tell you that feelings are not chemicals. Feelings, like many people say, oh, I'm angry, there is high level of testosterone. I'm feeling so sleepy, it must be the serotonin and all that. But remember one thing, it is the anger that produces testosterone. It's not testosterone that makes you angry. The whole science has been, interpreted in a wrong way. Anger causes a high level of testosterone in blood, and so on. It's not the other way around. It's feelings and emotions are not just chemicals. Are we just bundles of chemicals which have aligned together by chance? Is that possible? And exhibiting various feelings and emotions, a little bit of carbon, nitrogen together, and then one big complex chemical came and then feelings started happening. That's not at all possible. Sometimes we're happy and sometimes we're, happier. And then sometimes you're scared or surprised, and all these feelings can these just be chemical. Sometimes we're angry. Look at this baby. Okay, is this anger just chemical? No, it's not possible. If anger was just chemical, we could treat angry people and calm them down using something. You can only do that momentarily. You have to feel we are more than chemicals which constitute this body. Aren't we beyond this body? Intuitively, we understand that we are not this body, we are the soul. Let's try to understand. Has anybody until today said, I had? Do you say I had or my head? My or I? Is it my head or I had? Is it my hand or I hand? Is it I shoulder or my shoulder? Intuitively, we know it belongs to me. Now, when we say my, where is this me? My hand, my head, my legs, and so on, my body. We even say my body. We right there, like I say, my glasses. These glasses are not me. If I remove these glasses, I might have a little bit of compromised vision, but I'm still the same person. If you take away my legs, I might have some difficulty in walking. I'm still the same person. So where is this person? And who is this person, if not hand? Let's see. Study of consciousness. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Both the illustrations here are smiling. Who has a wider smile? The skull or the guy? Who has a wider smile? The skull, right? But who is happier? Is the guy. What is this? In the early 20th years of 20th century, scientists analyzed constituents of human body, and what did they find? They found out that human body has iron enough to make 6 small nails, carbon to make 900 pencils, sugar to sweeten 10 cups of coffee, potassium to fire a toy cannon like a matchbox worth, lime and fat to make 7 bars of soap, and so on and so on. What is the value of this body then? What is the total worth evaluation if you do, chemically speaking? Total worth of body is 210 rupees. And this is including GST. This is not excluding GST. Including GST, each and every one of us. Okay, if someone is a little heavy, maybe he's worth 250, but nahi, 300 se zyada nahi. That is the, we cannot bargain on that. 300 rupees se zyada we are not worth. Is that possible? I'll give you 300 rupees. Can you give me somebody you like? I'll take them and go somewhere. No, that's not possible. Let's take another example. College students, or if you have been to, let's go down the memory lane. Somebody in your college always had this fancy cycle or fancy bike or a fancy car. Amir baap ka beta, chalta. And one day, let's hope not, but one day while coming to college, there is a complete car crash. Let's say it was a BMW or an Audi. And the car is crashed completely. And the guy who was driving it was a very close friend of yours. Do you run to the scene to look at the situation of the car, or are you worried about your friend? Mere dost ko kya? Who are you worried about? You're worried about the car or the friend? Please don't say car. I said your friend. Okay, somebody is saying both. What if it's your friend? Are you worried about the car or the friend? It's a very close friend of yours. You're worried more about the car or the friend. Everybody is saying friend. But why? I just told you your human body is not worth more than 250 rupees. Well, why are you worried? This car is so expensive. You should be worried about the car. What is this?
The soul cannot be measured with any scientific instrument. Yet this minute, non-material entity, the soul, is so powerful that it unceasingly activates each body throughout its entire lifetime. This tiny little spark of life thus moves from one body to another. This is called reincarnation.
Like we were discussing yesterday, identity keeps changing. You're a baby, then you're a boy, then you're a bigger kid, you're a high school student. Identity has kept on changing throughout our life. And this shloka is going to be discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, so I'll just skip. What is life? State of living is response to stimulus, birth, growth, reproduction, death. That's it. Life is that. But consciousness is a wide range of experiences. We see color, we feel taste, we feel emotions. So many scientific theories are born from this consciousness, and we have something called as free will. So it's beyond. It's something beyond living. Consciousness is so much more. Inferential knowledge. There is something you can understand directly and some things you cannot. Like early in the morning, if let's say you wake up at 7:30 and you see it's bright outside. So what is your inference that the sun is up, right? Have you ever been like, wait a second, it must be someone with a bright light out there. I'll just confirm that sun is out. No. If it's bright outside, you inferentially know that the sun is out. Similarly, that although soul cannot be seen or touched, Krishna is going to discuss about that. But through inference, we can come to know that the soul is in the body. Like, what's the difference between a dead body and a live person? We say dead body, we don't even say dead person. What is the difference? The difference is there is no soul. So in 2005 July edition of Science magazine, they listed 125 unanswered questions in science, and one of them was Schrodinger's "What is life?" monograph. We still don't know what is life, and there are many scientists. I'll just share this PPT with you as a PDF, no worries. And it goes on and on and on and on. Many of the scientists, many of the leading scientists, Werner Arbor, whom we study in biotechnology, he says RNA alone cannot be life. DNA alone cannot be life. These biomolecules alone cannot be life. There is something beyond. When someone dies, we say he has passed away. Now, a major in English, if a MA English hears this, he'll say, hey, you're absolutely wrong. He has not passed away. He's right there. And that would be stupid if he said so. He has passed away. Who has passed away? But body is still there. If we had the body, where have you gone? We are not gone anywhere. When we're dreaming also, see another example, we are not this body. Because when you're asleep, you still go around, you go flying, you go meet some people, you go do something you couldn't do in lockdown, especially you're going and maybe roaming in the market, which you cannot do. So your soul has independent existence without this body as well. Even when you're alive, the soul is going to go beyond. Ian Stevenson, who's a Carlson professor of psychiatry at University of Virginia, did extensive research on past life memories, especially there's a particular case study known as Ludgi Bai. History Channel did a documentary on that. Anyway, you can look it up. And what the thing was is, a girl was born in a city, and when she was around 6-7 years old, she started saying that my husband is in that town. I used to be from that town. This girl, who has never held an atlas or even a newspaper, knows that there is a town somewhere with a man like this and this. And there, she was saying, my children and my family is there. A 6-year-old girl, nobody could believe. So this news reached America, and Ian Stevenson, professor, came here, Dr. Ian Stevenson, and he inquired, and he took her to that town and arranged for everybody to be lined up. Point to your husband, that's my husband, she says. Who are your children? He is my child. He's a 50-year-old man, and she's saying, this is my child. And he says, oh, my daughter has grown up. This girl had actually died in a past life giving birth to this girl. And she says, you have grown up. And she's broken down completely. So past life memories is another evidence for the existence. And also there are some birthmarks that we carry, which are said to be the injuries that killed us in our last life. There is a lot of, I'll share this PPT as a PDF with you. After going through this, maybe we can discuss about this. Even though we are trying to have so many, we're trying out so many ways of trying to enjoy life, but we are not satisfied. There is something always missing. We come to know that this rich person killed himself, this popular comedian killed himself, this popular politician killed himself. Everybody who was supposed to be happy are actually depressed. Why is this? They have a huge house, huge building, huge office, beautiful cars, and still they're dying. They're killing themselves. Why are we so dissatisfied and full of anxiety, stress, depressed, and above all, unhappy ultimately? Why is this? Because we are feeding the body, not the soul. We'll come to that. Body keeps changing. Similarly, even after death, the body has to keep changing. That's logical. If there was some method to illustrate an object that keeps changing its form and goes invisible or disappears, your immediate next guess would be that it has transformed its form. Like water, we see water because ice melts into water, and water evaporates into vapor, and vapor, do you think the vapor is gone? No, the vapor has become clouds and it will come down again. It's always a cycle. Nothing ever disappears. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So it has to be a cyclical thing. Confirmation by many great acharyas also. Vedavyasa has confirmed so. Madhvacharya has said so. Ramanujacharya has said so. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said so. Shankaracharya has said so. What scientists have agreed, great saints have agreed. Why do you want to argue? If you want, you can. I'll share this whole PPT. I think it's some 120 slides. I'll not be able to finish second chapter if I stick to that. So I'll just get to second chapter. I hope it's clear that we are not the body, we are the soul. In case you have doubts about that, I'll share the PPT so you can go through it. So the first excuse that Arjuna gives, if you remember, he says, I feel compassion for them. So Krishna is saying, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptis dhiras tatra na muhyati. He says, who are you feeling compassion for? Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. Just like this body, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Why are you worried? This body, look at, he's an old man anyway, he has to die. Let him die for something good. You cannot feel compassion for the body when person is not the body. I hope that makes sense. They're not the body. You go and kill them and get the means done. And he says, don't worry, your weapons cannot do anything to them because Nainam chinnanti shastrani, nainam dhati pavaka, nachainam kledyanti apo, nashoshiti maruta. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, or withered or dried by the wind. It is untouchable by your weapons. Even divine weapons cannot touch the soul. You can only harm the so-called, you can so-called harm the body. You cannot do anything to them. Don't worry about that. Any stress, frustration, depression, anxiety we feel every day, and we do, definitely we do. It's caused mainly and entirely due to this bodily identification. We think this body I have to take care of and I'm done. I eat good food, I do exercise, I wake up early in the morning, go running, done. That's not how it works. We feed our body but starve our soul, which is longing for Krishna. See, if you give your driver 100 rupees and ask him to fill the petrol in the tank and he comes back saying, "Oh, yeah, madam, I want to eat something." Can you say, "Take this straw, drink some petrol from the bed, open the petrol tank and drink some petrol. It should be enough." Can you ask the driver to survive on petrol? Let's see if there is anybody who is saying yes. Anybody? Certainly not. It's not practical. The food for the driver is separate, food for the body is separate. Similarly, the food for this driver of this body is something different, and food for this body is completely different. You eat food for this body, you need Krishna for this soul. Nobody can say that, "The driver, go ahead, take this straw, drink some petrol and be satisfied." Petrol is also carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and rice is also carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbohydrate, hydrocarbon, same thing. Be satisfied. Doesn't happen, right? ये ले kerosene पी ले थोड़ा. If you cannot drink petrol, drink some kerosene. Here is some Vaseline. That's not how it works. Then Arjuna had said, "No enjoyment. What will I get if I win or lose? There is no pleasure." So Krishna says, "See, here are your two options. You either go to heaven if you die, or you fight this war. Two things can happen. You either win or lose. Let's say you lose. If you lose, you get the pleasure of being in heaven, and if you win, you get the pleasure of being the king of the world." Yeah, two outcomes if he participates in the war. Hato va prapshasi swargam jitva va mokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritanishchaya. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy earthly kingdom. Well, what are you talking about? There is so much enjoyment. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. Don't make excuses. Then he says, if you fight, here are your two options. And if you don't fight, here is what's going to happen. He says, Avachevadamscha bahun vichanti tavahita nindastava samarthyam tatho dukhartu taram nukim. He says, your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Imagine a warrior of Arjuna's caliber. If someone on the street says, Arjuna had no guts to face the army, he just gave up and ran. That is going to be no enjoyment. That is going to be painful. If you don't fight, it is going to be painful. If you fight, there is nothing but pleasure, because you either die and go to heaven, or you fight and get the whole planet as your kingdom. So you choose, do you want to fight or not? Niha bikamanashosti prayato vaya vidyate swalpam api yasya dharmasya trayato mahatmato bhayat. Let's take case study. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from most dangerous type of fear. Let's take Hanuman as an example. Again, Hanuman, the perfect example. He burnt down Lanka. Does anybody have anything against that? We still worship him, don't we? Hanuman is one of the most worshipped demigods out there. Why? He burned down Lanka, and people worship him for that. He did such a great service to Lord Ram. He burnt it down in service to Lord Rama. If some monkey goes and burns down a town, it's a criminal. But Hanuman burned down Lanka as a service to Lord Ram, and that is why we worship him today. And here is another example. Does anybody know who this is? It is Ravana's brother, Vibhishan. He cheated his brother, no? He went to the enemy's army. He went and surrendered to Lord Ram, saying, "My brother has gone mad, but I want to take your shelter, Lord Ram. Please, I don't know what you're going to do with my brother, but I am your servant, I am your devotee." Does anybody say Vibhishan is a bad guy? Does anybody say Vibhishan was such a bad person? No, Vibhishan is demigods among demons. He was born in a demon family, but he is worshipable for having surrendered to Lord Ram. Even a little endeavor in the path of devotion. What did Vibhishana do? He came and surrendered to Lord Ram. What did he get? He got Lord Rama's love. Little endeavor is enough. It protects one from most dangerous types of fears. There's another story in Ramanuja Vaishnavas. They have this story. There was a little rat. This is actual history. There was a tiny little rat which was very hungry and starved. And during Kartik month, it's a special month during which diyas are offered to the Lord. This little rat went to the altar of the Lord. It went to the Garbhagudi of the temple, and it saw there's a small fruit. It wasn't actually a fruit. It was a diya which was about to die off. The oil was about to get over, and the diya was about to go off. And it looks like a tiny little fruit. No, so this hungry rat runs towards it, thinking it's a fruit. And out of this hurry burry, haste, the whole rat catches fire and starts to burn. And out of that fear of fire, it starts to jump around the altar room and starts to jump and jump. And Lord is so merciful. He looks at this rat and he's like, "Oh, this rat is offering me diya." Says, "Come," and he takes the rat to Vaikuntha. Lord is so merciful. Even accidentally, if you do something great, Lord will open-handedly accept you. That's a love that parent has for the child, isn't it? The rat, so-called, died in this world, but attained greatness. One of the Prabhus in the beginning was saying, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Yes, that's what Vedas talk about. So this is what Krishna is saying about Vedas. Fourth answer to Arjuna's question. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvandva Nitya Sattvasto, Niryoga Kshema, Atmavan. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of three modes of material nature. This is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. They only deal with these topics mainly. Rise above these three modes of Arjuna. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities and from anxiety of gain, safety, and be established in the self. It's very difficult. It's next level. You have to become free from all this. Even Sattva is sometimes dangerous. Rajas is dangerous. Tamas is terrible. We'll discuss deeper when we go into the particular chapter about three gunas. So we'll discuss it there. All purposes that are served by a small pond can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Like, here's a question. Should you drive on the left or the right in India? What does the rule book say? We have to drive on the left. But if somebody is crossing the road, can you run over them and say, "Hey, I was following the law, okay? The law book says that I have to drive on the left side of the road, and I am driving on the left side of the road. How can you put a case against me?" No, you shouldn't stick to the book entirely. Sometimes in extreme case scenarios, exceptions have to be made. And you have to come above the law book. You have to go towards the right of the road, although it is not to be done. Even if it's not a zebra crossing, and even if it is the person is illegally crossing, you would go on the wrong side of the road and risk. But that's because that's the right thing to do. So sometimes you have to do what is right and not what is usually done. Vyayasatmika buddhi reke hekuru nandana bhushakaya anantasya buddhayo avyasainam. Those who are in this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. Beloved child of Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branch. And I've used this image to remind you people of how Arjuna is known to have great concentration. While everybody could see the tree and everything else, Arjuna could only see the eye of the bird. That is how concentration should work, and that is the kind of concentration he had. And that is what Krishna is saying. Be very resolute. Concentrate on what your goal is. Don't get distracted. In the 55th shloka, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Prajhati yada kaman sarvan partha manogata atmani evatmana tushta sthita pragnasta dochete. The blessed Lord said, "O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desires which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness." Now let's take any example you take of sensual enjoyment. Let's say something, food. It's all in our mind. We think it's going to be so amazing, and we are waiting and waiting for lunchtime because mom has packed very nice lunch for us. And then when we open the box and we start eating, first bite, yes, it is quite tasty. Second bite, Okay, third bite, and slowly the taste goes down, because the expectation that you had is what made you think that first few bites were tasty. The real taste of that food was the last bite when you had, and you were just having it because if you don't eat, your mother is going to scold. Real taste was that, but in the beginning, out of hunger, and we will deal with how that desire arises in the next shloka. Prajahati yada kaman. All these desires should be shut down. As far as possible. We have to start somewhere. Sarvan partha manogata. Everything is coming from the mind. There is no desire which is real. All the desires are this. The mind telling us, do this, do this, do that, do that. Atmani evatmana tushta. Be satisfied wherever you are. Find satisfaction in yourself alone. Sthita prajnastadochyate. This person is called as Sthita prajna. Is said to be in the transcendental consciousness, pure transcendental consciousness. Who is the perfect example for this? Prahlad Maharaj. He was tried to be killed by his father by so many means. He put him. Does anybody know all the ways? The Hiranyakashipu wanted him killed. Anybody wants to? If you raise your hand, I will ask you to unmute yourself. You have to name all. Yeah. Raja Srivasan Prabhu.
Namaste Ji.
Hare Krishna.
So, yeah,
How many?
He tried poison. He tried trampling him with an elephant. He threw him into the deepest part of the ocean by drowning. He tried starvation. Yes. Nothing worked.
And Holika? Remember Holika? Anybody knows the? Yes, Prabhu. I think you missed one or two, but yeah, right on. Yes, Sima Mataji. Sima Mataji knows about Holika. Anyway, many ways Hiranyakashipu tried to kill.
Hello.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Holika, because that is the day we celebrate the day before Holi.
Yeah.
Holika Dahan.
You know who is Holika? What her powers were?
Yeah, she was.
Many people around.
She was Hiranyakashipu's sister.
What was her power?
And she could go into the fire, but she will not get burnt.
But what happened? She went into the fire and she got burnt.
And she caught fire.
It was devotee of the Lord. The fire, even the fire got angry. Now you see, when he was thrown off a cliff, Vishnu, Narayana caught him. He is devotee, he will protect. When poison was given to him, he was a great devotee. He would not eat any food just like that. So what he did, he offered the food to the Lord, and as soon as he offered the food to the Lord, it became prasadam. It wasn't poisonous anymore. Being trampled under the elephant wouldn't trample him. Snakes tried to bite him, snakes wouldn't bite him. Snakes started to become devotee. Snakes started to chant the name of the Lord. He was tried to put in you starved, nothing worked because Lord was protecting him. Because he was a Sthita Prajna, he was a pure devotee. Pure devotee is under the protection of the Lord. So he is a very great example. Even Holika got burned. And also Prabhupada is another great. He tried in India for so many years. If you have watched the documentary, I hope. Yeah, how many of you have watched the documentary? Maybe you can raise your hand or reply in the chat box. Yeah, everybody watched the documentary? Yeah, I request you to please watch it. I've shared the link again. You can see that he would not give up that easily because he was Sthita Prajna. He was unaffected. He was just doing his duty. Now we come to one of the most important shlokas. These two shlokas are going to summarize the entire science of psychology. Let's try to understand this very nicely. Please pay attention. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangastishu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate. While contemplating the sense object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. Let's take a common example. A boy who is in school, when he's in first LKG, higher kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth standard, he has been around girls and he has not gotten affected because he has not paid attention yet. Dhyayato vishaya pumsa. But upon contemplation, upon repeated exposure, what happens? The person has started to, one of the crooked boys starts to develop attachment for them. Let's say a girl, and he starts getting attached. And from this attachment, what comes? Lust develops. He wants it. He will not listen to anybody. Now, okay, that's up to one level, let's say manageable. But then what happens? Krodhat bhavati sammohat, smriti vibhrama, smriti bhramshat, buddhi nashat pranashyati. Because of this lust, anger arises because I want, who are you to say no? And in this anger, complete delusion arises. He has lost all his intelligence. He is not able to think clearly. How can you stop me? Who are you? He asks his own father. Who am I? I'm your father. No, you are not. He goes mad. Delusion is completely bewildered and he has lost his memory. He says, I'm your father. No, you're not. He has lost his memory. And when memory is lost, intelligence is lost. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, smriti vibrama, smriti bhramshat buddhi nasho. When smriti is gone, buddhi is gone. Because if you don't have memory, what is the use of intelligence? Even intelligence gaya bhaad mein. And buddhi nashat pranashyati. Once intelligence is gone, khalas, khatam, tata, bye bye, end. So let's try to understand that in a flow chart. Object of senses, because of constant exposure, attachment develops. Out of attachment, lust develops. And when lust cannot be fulfilled, anger comes. This anger leads to delusion. Delusion leads to bewilderment of memory, which ultimately leads to loss of intelligence and finally fall down. So what can we do? We have to stop it wherever possible. And where do you think is the easiest stage to stop? Yeah, anybody wants to try maybe? What is the easiest stage to stop? You can stop it here before delusion, anger. Where do you think is the best place to stop? Seema Mataji, yes?
When you are not attached.
Yeah, best is that. No, sounds very dangerous. It's like, hey, how can I avoid attachment? Yeah, can be avoided because we keep the senses away from the sense objects. Let's put it in a simpler words. An empty mind might be a devil's workshop, or it might not be. I don't know about that, but it is certainly not a place where constructive thoughts can occur. An empty mind is not a place where constructive thoughts are going to occur. Only nonsense ideas are going to pop up. Hence, one must not let it even contemplate on sense objects for a moment. And by this, he can achieve, being detached. But now question is, how can I be detached? You can be detached by higher taste. When I was very little, I used to like sugar, and I used to ask my mother for sugar. I used to say, "Give me some sugar," and I used to eat sugar. I didn't know much. But then one day, one of my father's friends got a chocolate, and he gave me the chocolate, and suddenly I was not interested in the sugar anymore. I wanted chocolate, so higher taste. So instead of being attached to all garbage, get attached to Lord and Lord's glories and Lord's pastimes and Lord's, Bhagavad Gita. And being attached to this, you can easily detach yourself from nonsense material activities and hence find peace. Like we have been doing this from last 1 hour, and I'm sure many of you have found peace. And why did we find this peace? Because we have detached ourselves from this nonsense material, plane, and tried to elevate ourselves higher. And even trying, swalpamapi dharmasya trayatu matupaya, even trying a little bit, the Lord has said in this chapter, gives you great benefit. And that ends this chapter, and I think we can open this for discussion. Yeah, anybody has a question? Seema Mataji?
Yeah, actually, I would like to ask a question. Hello?
Yes, Mataji, I can hear you.
I like to ask a question like it was from yesterday's discussion, rather. Is it okay for the yesterday's discussion?
Of course, anything until your syllabus jahan tak khatam ho.
Yeah. See, we have always heard Dronacharya being so unjust to Ekalavya, but we have never heard Dronacharya being so welcoming about Drishtadhyumna. Why is it so? Because the person who is going to kill you also, he unlike the teachers of today, where they don't even impart 80% of their knowledge. Only we are speaking about how he was so unjust to Eklavya.
Mataji, then again comes the question of, was he really unjust to Ekalavya? Because
Yeah, that's it.
what we have been exposed to until today is a Western interpretation of Ekalavya. Maybe Ekalavya was actually a demon. He actually fought. If you know, if you have studied Mahabharata, and people who have studied Mahabharata can testify this, he was fighting on the side of Duryodhana. He was on the Duryodhana's army, and even if Dronacharya had trained Ekalavya, even then he would be on Duryodhana's side. So he had this demonic. A guru can immediately find out that what this, a great teacher, of course, always. If you are a teacher, you know
Yeah,
when a
true.
boy is misbehaving, this guy is not going to end up doing much. So you try to change him. But a really, really great teacher always knows that no, I really cannot help him. This boy cannot be helped, and that is why Ekalavya couldn't be saved. Drona.
Yeah, that is only glorified a lot about Drona than the Drishtidimna story.
That's the media. That's why we have to. If you want to know about Krishna and Mahabharata and Ramayana and these glorious books, you have to come to the right source.
Yeah.
Like yesterday I was telling you, broken charger cable. Say if you go to charge the phone, some damage is going to happen. Battery is going to get damaged. Something is going to happen. Similarly, if you're going to get information of such great books from Pogo and nonsense channels like Star Plus, let's say, what do they know? They are just trying to entertain you. If you want entertainment, go there, get entertained, and come back. Don't take it as knowledge. But what do people do today? They think that is reality. Hey, I saw on that channel, Krishna smiled. It wasn't Krishna who was smiling, it was that actor who was smiling because the director asked him to do so.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, Shipra Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare
I have two questions. First is, are heaven and hell, are these things reality? Because we just thought them to be stories only, heaven and hell. And and the second thing is, how can we be sthit pragya? Because as humans, we cannot be machines now. Why were we given a mind who's never stable?
Why were we given this mind? Yes. This actual answer to this comes in the next chapter. Very good question. What is the mind's position? Indriyani paranyao indriya paramamana manassu para buddhe yo buddhe paratatsusa. Let's discuss this in the next chapter. How to become sthita prajna? What am I supposed to? This is the joke which I was going to use tomorrow, but I'll use it right now. They say meditation is trying to make your mind zero. Just concentrate on nothingness. Stop your mind, and yes, you have achieved perfection. To stop my mind, I don't need meditation. Best way to stop my mind is take a brick and bang me on the head. Is this okay? And I'm knocked out. Is this meditation? Arey yaar, I'm not knocked out. I was just meditating involuntarily. No. What is meditation? What to do with this mind? Is this mind an enemy or a friend? Everything comes slowly. Very good question, Mataji. I think it comes in the 3rd and 4th chapter as well. Stick with us, Mataji. Yeah.
And the first question is heaven.
Yeah, heaven and hell. About that, about heaven and hell, let us discuss as we go forward, because faith has to build. No, directly if I tell you yes, heaven is there, hell is there. But let me ask you simply one thing: do you think actions go unpunished? You believe in karma, don't you? Come on, everybody in today's world, even the West is started believing in karma, isn't it?
Yeah, I have one thing against karma also. Like, if in our life we blame the judiciary system, and we say justice delayed is justice denied, then the theory of karma also states that, because the fruit of some karma of some previous past birth we are getting in this birth. So if we have spoiled our one birth, we are spoiling our next birth also due to that. So why this delay in justice?
Okay. Yeah. Mataji, I'll take a simple Olympics example. Okay. Let's say there is a race going on, and the race is about to get over, and just before the finish line, the person who was in the 2nd place put his leg or hand or something and push the guy who was first, and the person who was first got damaged badly. Now, can he be punished before this race ends? Do you think he can? Do you think the runner number 2 can be punished before this race ends?
No.
He has to be banned for next 2-3 races. He has to be fined and all that after the race finishes, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, when we see that such heinous crimes are happening and they're not punished, this race is about to get over and there is not enough time. The kind of punishment they deserve, there is not enough time in this life for them to go through that punishment. Don't worry, there is Lord's devotee Shani who is in charge, and he will make sure he gets what he deserves. Shani is not your enemy. Shani has kept a tab of what nonsense activities you have done, and what you deserve will be delivered by him. You cannot blame him for what he delivers. He has just delivered what you ordered. Can you blame Zomato guy for saying why did you deliver this? I did not order this. Yeah, Zomato guy you can blame, but not Shani. He will give you what you deserve because he has proper tabs of what you have done. But maybe not in this life, maybe in next life. Similarly, for great deeds that you have done, we see many great people. They have done such great feats and yet they are suffering because the kind of thing that Lord has in stock for them cannot be given in this life. In the next life, they will get whatever they deserve and maybe more. I hope I answered your question to some extent, Mataji.
Yeah.
And as we build on, we can answer more of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Babu Pai Prabhu. Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Question is on body and soul. As we understood that this body has no meaning when the soul flies away, and we also know that soul enters in and takes the another body in shape. That's what we understood. So, if that is the case, how do we overcome this attachment? Whenever someone near us, near ones or dear one dies, right, we'll get emotionally attached. Whatsoever matter, we know this fact. The soul goes and takes another body, but still we couldn't control that. What is the way out when we know that this is nothing, body just taken over?
I went through this when my father passed away exactly a year ago. I was not happy. I was like, why? Yeah, we are body, we are soul, but what is happening? I wasn't able to wrap my head around it. But 2-3 days later, as my mind calmed down a little, I started thinking to myself, what is it that I'm missing? It's not him that I'm missing. It's the way he makes me feel. See, when somebody dies, I did this. I sent messages to many of his friends saying, your friend has passed away. And majority of the replies were, oh, I lost such a great friend. Oh, I lost such a... and one of the common replies was, oh, I lost such a great well-wisher of me. All they worry about is them. Even, my father died and you're saying your well-wisher died. I wanted some sympathy and they are sympathizing with themselves. Oh my God, I lost such a great well-wisher. All we care about is how we feel. Okay, he died. Wo kaam kaun karega mera? Oh, he also died. I was depending on him for so much thing. All we care about is ourselves. I'm not saying entirely applies to 100% of the population, but 99% of time. Can you agree to that?
Yes.
That's what we worried about. I had so much work to be done from him. Now he's gone home. Abhi kisko main bakra bana? We're looking for victims in this world. We'll slowly discuss that also. We're all looking for victims. A boy is looking for a girl so that he can use her in some way. He is looking for a victim. A girl is looking for a boy who is well settled, earning good money to make him a victim. Nobody is really here to love each other. If you really love someone, as soon as you see them, you should be like, oh my God, I can do so much for her. But no, you're like, oh, I can make really nice use of her. I can take her to parties. I can show her off. Isn't that the mentality we have? There is no love in this world. There is no love. It's all lust. Dhyato vishayat pumsa sangastheshu bajayat sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodha vijayate and anger. Krodhat bhavati samoha, and that anger has bewildered us so much. Samohat smriti vibra, we have lost our memory. With memory, intelligence is gone and damar kalas. I hope I answered your question.
So we should just forget you're saying, right? I mean,
you should learn to love and completely stop lusting. You give as much love as you can give, and you shouldn't be like, I can make use. You should be like, I can be of some use. I can maybe help this person make his life better, or maybe I cannot. Don't be so invested that, oh, I cannot do this. Oh, no, don't be so invested. Be relaxed. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Saurabh Prabhu, you have a question?
Yes. Where does the soul reside?
Yeah. Shall we go? Let me just tell you. Soul seat is heart. Soul resides in the heart. That's why when Ganesha's head was cut and an elephant's head was put, he didn't say, ah, he spoke like a human. He wasn't trumpeting like an elephant. It is believed that we exist over here, whereas we don't. Many scientific research have been done, and it suggests that brain has very little to do with who we are. Now, this might again bring about a whole big, huge discussion, but just bear with me. Again, I will repeat. I'm doing my postgraduate in biotechnology from IIT Guwahati, and I can tell you that it's very hazy. Brain is not where we reside. Heart is where we reside. I can share the many studies that have happened. One particular case which really interested me was there was a plumber who had a head injury some 10-20 years ago when this paper was published. Some 20 years ago, something fell on his head, a pipe or something fell on his head. He felt a little bit of headache for a few days, but then nothing. It was all back to normal. Then a couple of years, 15-20 years later, when he had an MRI done, the doctors were shocked and they just couldn't believe. So they took him to another MRI machine. They called in a lot of doctors, and what they found was there was internal bleeding happening in his brain. You understand internal bleeding, right? So due to this internal bleeding, the pressure in the cranium increased to such an extent that the brain had to shrink to accommodate this excess blood. And the brain started shrinking to such an extent, I think 15 to 20% of his brain mass was left. Are you able to follow? Brain, which is supposed to be 1.4 kilograms, was reduced to 300 to 250 grams of mass. Majority of processing area, majority of the occipital lobe, everything was gone. There was no, he's supposed to be blind, but he can still see what is happening. This is one of the most amazing research. He basically has no brain, and yet he is 100% functioning. How is that possible? So we can discuss more about that, but the seat of the soul is heart. Heart is where the soul.
Another question I have is, what are the qualities of soul, and how can you experience that soul is in the heart and not in the mind? Mind as in brain.
This again will be answered tomorrow when Indrani Paranya Indriya Paramamana Manasastu Parabuddhe Yo Buddhe Paradajusa. How can you prove that there is something beyond mind also? Forget where the soul is. Let us first prove that soul is above the mind, and that we will do in the next chapter. Is that okay?
Yeah, all right.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dr. Jashbir Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. You have a question? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hello. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to know one thing, that you have told that the price of the human body is like 200 something. Yeah. But in today's date, if we see in a different perspective, like the human body can, most of the organs can be donated, and it can be so much valuable.
Yeah, biologically, yes. Now, then again, if kidney is worth some 70 or 80 or 1 lakh, your liver, liver can regenerate, so it's not that expensive. Let's say liver is another 50,000. So even if you evaluate like that, human body's price is not going to go beyond 90 or 1.90 lakhs to 1 crore is the limit. Human body is not worth more than that. And do you think that's it? 1 crore ka hardware hai, bas ho gaya? Nahin na, bro. Yeah, I know what you're saying. If you consider,
I understand what, but if we just like if we keep on spreading this thing, like it's a waste, it's of no value, so like it can be such a great help, like donating the body, maybe the organs. So maybe it's time that we believe, we start to think a bit differently.
Yeah, but what I was saying is not that body is worthless. What I was saying is the kind of emphasis that we give on the body is not worth it. What I meant was the sensual enjoyment that the people are relying upon, like drinking and smoking, saying I will enjoy this body and that is it. Do you think that's the right thing for people to do? अरे मैं इतना स्मोक करूंगा, इतना मजा आता है यार, इतना दारू पीता हूँ, बहुत मजा आता है. This indriya bhog, this bodily pleasure that people are after, is that right, or should they take proper care of the body?
Yeah, that is something.
I'm not saying body is worthless. खुदकुशी कर लो. No. Body is very, very useful tool. But remember, tool. You are not the body. Body is a tool. You are not the pen. You should use the pen. Similarly, this body is to be used, and to use it to a full extent, you have to use it correctly. You should not misuse it. And that's what I was saying. Do not misuse this human life that we have got. Absolutely, human body is not worthless. No body is worthless. Maybe it came off in.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Ankita Mataji, you have a question?
Yes. I have a question that what do you mean by not keeping attachment? Does it mean like not keeping attachment with your family or things you like?
Again, I just answered that. See, there is a difference between lust and love. Love is to give, lust is to take. Love should be there. Lust should not be there, because lust gives rise to anger and so on. We saw in the, let me go to that slide. So this lust will lead down to fall. But instead of lust, if you had not skipped this whole pathway, and if you had put love, love is giving. When you give without expecting anything in return, there is no question of anger and all that, right? So attachment has to be through love and not lust.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Raghu Prabhu, yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I was trying to connect chapter 1 and chapter 2. And so chapter 2, the focus is on the soul. Does it mean that, Arjuna was not aware of his true nature, okay, and therefore that has driven the indecisiveness? Is it right?
Again, I said in the first chapter once that we should understand that Arjuna's bewilderment is an arrangement of Krishna for Bhagavad Gita to be delivered to us. Yes, Arjuna is pretending, or Arjuna is made to pretend in such a way that he is acting like one of us. He is acting like an ordinary person. But if you're talking about Arjuna, the person outside battlefield, he knew all of this. He is doing this for us so that Bhagavad Gita can come to us. See, I'm sure you know that you experience this. If there is a very good kid in the class and there's a very nice teacher teaching, this intelligent kid will always extract knowledge like anything, and whole class benefits. Have you experienced this, or maybe have been a part of this? There is always this, sometimes this one student in the class who will ask such intelligent questions that teacher starts to think and give answer, and the class becomes so blissful, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The student could have gone in the staff room and asked, but he's publicly asking. He's doing a favor to everybody. Maybe he's trying to show off a little bit, but let's take the good out of it. He's benefiting everybody. So Arjuna is also benefiting all of us by asking such beautiful questions. He has put 5 excuses which we yesterday were agreeing with. We were like, yeah, compassion, yes, sin, we agree. And today we're like, no, if he doesn't fight the war, it is sinful. He has the future of the world in his hand. He now cannot say ahimsa. He has to fight the war for the betterment of the world. Otherwise, demons are going to rule planet Earth. So, yeah, I hope you understood that.
Yes, Hare Krishna, I have one more question. So, in one of your presentation, it was written that the soul is a non-material thing. Okay, so when the soul is non-material thing, where it resides, it's not going to come as a question. So it can be ever pervading.
Yeah, sure. That's the symptom of it, can be ever pervading. My hands are moving because the soul is instructing my mind to instruct the arms to move. Its symptoms are ever pervading, but it has to have a localization. It's metaphysical. So if I say solar system, and when I say solar system is so wide, it's a couple of light minutes wide. It's maybe light hours in its width. But when we say the center of gravity of the solar system, it has to be the sun. The center of gravity of the solar system is right at the sun, because 99% of the mass of the solar system is at the sun. So when we say like that, the soul resides in the heart. Its symptoms are all throughout this body, no doubt, but its localization is at the heart.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Akshita Mataji.
Yeah, yesterday I posted my question there also. I mean, on the chat also. I want to know. I mean, Yudhishthir was a man of dharma, right?
Yes. There are only 53 people left. I wish I could answer this in front of a bigger audience, but anyway, I'll just answer it. Mataji's question was, if when Yudhishthira is such a great person who knows he's such a righteous king, he shouldn't have gambled with Duryodhana in the first place. It was adharma for him to even gamble. Yes, Mataji, you're absolutely right. What he did is wrong. He regretted it later, but there is no point in regretting after doing something wrong. But what we should remember is Yudhishthira tried his best. He did not want to. He tried his best, but then all the elders were asked to, make him. Elders, even then, elders said, "Don't do this." Then finally, Duryodhana challenged Yudhishthira as a kshatriya, and as a kshatriya cannot say no to two things. He cannot say no to a fight, and he cannot say no to a gambling match. Now you might say, why? Why is this law there? Doesn't make any sense. Does it make any sense? Let me ask you to unmute yourself. Mataji, do you think it makes sense that a kshatriya should never say no to a fight? Yes. It makes sense, doesn't it?
I mean, over here, this is something wrong. This should not be done.
I will come to that. Let's go slowly. A kshatriya should never say no to war. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, but it depends that how much loss is being done in the as such. In Krishna also tried to save the war, right?
Mataji, I will answer your question. Don't worry about that. You just answer my question. Can a kshatriya say no to a war when he's being challenged? No.
No, right, no.
And in Shastras, it is also mentioned that kshatriya should never say no to a challenge of gambling. Now you might say, why? This does not make any sense, right? Does it make any sense? Now
This makes no sense.
Does it? Does not make any sense. Why is? But it does. What we think, the game of the gambling game, it actually is based on some amount of modern day Ludo and some amount of modern day chess. It has equal amount of luck at play and strategy at play. So if a kshatriya says, no, I don't want to gamble, it either means that he does not believe in his strategy, which reflects badly upon him, or he does not believe in his own luck. And if a king does not believe in his own luck, it's very difficult for his citizens to live under him. I'm not saying he should have. Even though he should not say no to a gambling match, he said no, but still he was forced to such an extent, and he said, come on, it's a family, we are playing as brothers, are you going to say no to your brother? And ultimately he was pulled into it. If you read Mahabharata in detail, you're going to come across this. And also, let's not stress much on Mahabharata. Let us concentrate on Bhagavad Gita, because after 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, these questions will not be left in, because these questions are going to sound irrelevant. Because if those situations had not happened, Bhagavad Gita would not be here. Ultimately, I can even say that if Yudhishthira Maharaj had not gambled that day, which is definitely wrong, I'm not saying it is correct. If Yudhishthira Maharaj hadn't gambled, he wouldn't have gone to Vanvas, and his kingdom wouldn't be taken away from him. There would not be a war. Arjuna would not be confused, and we would not have Bhagavad Gita out of this Mahabharata. Yeah. And also, when Shakuni said he is going to play on behalf of Duryodhana, Yudhishthira could have said, I will ask Krishna to play on behalf of me. Right? He did not. Are you able to understand? If Shakuni can cheat, Krishna can cheat even the biggest cheaters. But Yudhishthira did not. His memory was taken away. Krishna took away Yudhishthira's memory. Very easily Yudhishthira could have said, oh, Shakuni Mama is playing, fine, on my behalf, Krishna will play. But no, his memory was taken away. This was an orchestrated situation where it had to happen, otherwise we would not have Bhagavad Gita.
Even for the Chiharan and all, everything, you will say that it was an orchestrated situation? I mean,
definitely not. Definitely not. Again, yesterday I was saying your situations might be, circumstances might be anything, but the way you respond to it is up to you. Duryodhana did not have to do that. Are you saying Duryodhana's behavior is somehow dependent on Yudhishthira's innocence? I'm not defending Duryodhana's behavior. I'm not defending
Yudhish-
anything. Yeah.
I mean, Yudhishthir was really wrong when he had put his wife over there in
Okay, so now you're coming to that. You're saying, why did he bet his wife?
yeah, exactly.
If you have
Why did
studied
he do that?
Mahabharata again, you will know that he did not want to. He absolutely did not want to. Did you know that?
Yeah, of course, I know that.
Absolutely did not want to. But then you know what was said against Draupadi?
Yeah, like she was highly like
Yeah.
काफी ज़्यादा insult. She was insulted. She was
Kaurava said,
insulted a lot.
Kaurava said, why are you not betting her? Is it because after you have lost all your wealth, your wife does not belong to you? Was she your wife just because you were rich? Does she not belong to you? Now you're saying your brothers. Now you have bet your brothers. Are you saying your wife is not yours? And I said some things which I cannot mention here. And out of that, he had to bet her. Now coming to another side, it was also Krishna's arrangement, because if Yudhishthira had not bet Draupadi would have been left out, and these 5 brothers would have been slaves. And who was there to protect Draupadi?
Nobody.
If he was not bet in this whole gambling match, and Draupadi was left out, and 5 brothers are gone somewhere as slaves, where would Draupadi be? Without a protection, right?
Right, right.
So Yudhishthira, you have to see it as a brilliant move as well. Ultimately, Yudhishthira said, okay, if she is here, somehow we can protect her. So fine, finally he said, I will bet him. And did anything happen? Krishna came to save ultimately when she said, Govinda, Krishna came.
Yeah, of course, complete surrender.
So ultimately, you have to see the kind of, there are multiple levels. I'm just telling you what little I know. If you talk to a bigger devotee, they'll give you even bigger. I'm a very, very small devotee. But the way I see it is Yudhishthira saw that we five brothers can protect her in front of our, but then the ball went out of the hand. Duryodhana took it too much far ahead and the Lord had to intervene. So then Lord did. Yeah, I hope I answered your question, Mother.
Right. Yeah.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Hare Krishna.
Nirav Shah Prabhu. Yes. I'm sorry I had to keep you waiting. Yeah.
Hey, Hare Krishna. Thank you for kind explanations. My question is more to do with the slide you are showing here, right? So, as you know, most of us are in this cycle somewhere as of today. So, what is the right path to break it? Is it told in Gita or?
Yes. It comes up. But then again, let me just tell you in simple way. When I was little and I used to love sugar, my father's friend got me a chocolate and I like chocolate. So higher taste is always the way to go. So if you want to get rid of gulab jamun addiction, you have to taste rasgulla. If you want to get rid of rasgulla addiction, you have to eat something higher. That's what happens with drugs also. They start with some small drug, then the thing keeps on climbing. But a high class drug addict is not addicted to some street level tiny drug. So the best drug out there is Krishna's glories. Be engaged in Krishna Katha. And as we go forward, I hope you get attached to this and you will immediately feel detachment from the nonsense of this world. Slowly. It's not going to happen instantly. Again, people say, Pura Bhagavad Gita, I have done this 4 times, these sessions. And they said at the end of 18th chapter, सबको जो भी आपने कहा हम समझे, पर फिर भी ना प्रभु, detachment तो करना है, पर detach हो नहीं रहा. We're not able to detach. We know that we have to detach, but detachment is not happening. So what I say to them is, it's like turning off a fan. You're feeling very cold, you go and turn off the fan. Is the fan going to stop instantly? You turn the switch off and the fan stop? No, it's going to go for a few rounds. Similarly, once just accept that, just like Arjuna said, Karpanya doshoputa swabhava, Shishyasteyam shanimam tvam prapanam. Say, Krishna, I'm surrendering unto you. I want to be detached from this world. I know it is, I'm not saying detached from this world like sab moh maya. I want to detach from the nonsense of this world and I want to get attached to your lotus feet. Do some service, do some mercy on me, give me some service. And the degree of surrender you have for Krishna, the degree Krishna will open up to you. Yeah, we are still in the 2nd chapter. As we go on, we'll catch more momentum. And please stick with us. Yeah.
Thank you. Then thanks for the answer.
Hare Krishna. I'll take maybe one or two more questions. Milan Prabhu or Mataji? Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Just now you were talking about where does the soul reside, and you said that it resides in the heart. But like I've heard, when you do meditation, you just concentrate in between the two eyebrows because that's where the soul resides. So little bit confusion over here.
That's where the consciousness resides. The translation, the problem is the books we read are not in Samskrita, they are in English. And the sad thing is we even don't know how to pronounce Sanskrit. We say Sanskrit. Even I used to do it. I studied Samskrita for 7 years and I used to still pronounce it as Sanskrit. And just for pronouncing it as Sanskrit, my Sanskrit teacher cut my mark, saying this is not the way. You have not studied Sanskrit even for a month if you pronounce it as Sanskrit. So what happens is we read such scriptures, such books from translation of some Lord blah blah blah, some British translation, and the guy was not a Samskrita Vidwan, was not a Samskrita Pandit. So he's translating it in his own way. This is where the consciousness resides. See, when you're looking at this world, if you know what is VR, virtual reality games, when you wear that thing, you feel like you are here. This is where consciousness resides, and this is where soul resides. But you can concentrate to such an extent that you start to feel the soul's existence throughout your body. So of course the symptom of the soul is throughout this body. So you cannot say that there is no soul here. Of course there is symptom of soul. It's like I touch electricity, my whole body gets electrocuted, but the source of electricity is still that socket right there. Similarly, yes, when I'm looking at this world, I feel like this is where my consciousness resides, but that doesn't mean that is the source. The plug is here, the electricity plug is here. I hope I answered your question, Mark.
So while doing meditation, you say that we should continue focusing in between the two eyebrows.
I'm not saying anything about meditation yet. When we get to the chapter of meditation, Dhyana Yoga, it is 5th chapter. That is where we'll discuss Dhyana Yoga. Is that okay, Mataji?
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Preeti Mataji, yes, you have a question?
Please. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Sir, I'm in the process of, am I audible? Yeah. Sir, I'm in the process of reading the book, Bhagavad Gita, and I came across realization of the absolute truth, which is mentioned in 3 phases. You know, in case you need to understand the realization of the absolute truth, it comes in 3 phases. First is Brahman, second is Paramatma, and third is Bhagwan. So Brahman means an impersonal, all-pervasive spirit, and Paramatma is localized aspect of the Supreme within the heart of all living entities, and Bhagwan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Lord Krishna. So first and the second one, I was unable to comprehend. As a layman, I'm unable to comprehend what does impersonal, all-pervasive spirit
I'm also a
mean,
layman.
and what does localized.
I will also explain it in layman
If you can
terms.
please.
So let's take sun
Yes,
as
sir,
an.
yes.
You look up in the sky, you see the sun. Let's say that is Brahman realization. Okay, there is the sun. But then if you let's say you have a chain and there is a pendant or a locket on it, and you look down on it, you can see the sun shining on that. Yeah, that is Atma or Paramatma. That is Brahman, and in me also there is Brahman. So Paramatma. And then you come to know, then when you traverse more and more and you go closer to the world of sun, you start to see that the sun has the outermost covering called corona. And then it has its dark spots, and you've understood the sun entirely, and you have begun to understand the depth of the sun. You're like, oh, sun is huge, it's not this small, and you understand that is Bhagwan.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Okay, so that would be Paramatma, the second phase.
Second phase, when you look
the
in the
localized aspect of Supreme within the heart of all.
Yeah, the sun shining on you, and due to which even you are visible in this world, that is Paramatma. But then when you understand sun in a much deeper way, that you have become now a cosmologist, okay, then we can say you have begun to understand Bhagwan.
Yes, sir.
I hope I answered your question, Madhu.
All right. So one more question. Yes, sir. One more question, sir. Yeah, chapter 2, text 33, in which it is written, Arjuna was a famous fighter and he attained fame by fighting many great demigods, including Lord Shiva. Now, I as a layman has a problem with this thing, that why Lord Shiva is being considered considered as a demigod because he is also as important as Lord Krishna as far as Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma is concerned. He's also one of the part of the Trinity wherein, we have the, preserver and Brahma as the creator and, he as the destroyer. So we
Actually,
have
this
been taught, yeah,
destroyer.
we have been taught that destruction means reconstruction. So Shiva is as important. He is there at all the, what to say, wherever cremation grounds, So why is he being considered as a demigod? I don't think so. He's a demigod. I mean, it's just a personal opinion. If you can light on that, it'll be great.
Mataji, have you heard of Bhagavata Purana?
No, no, sir. I haven't heard of it. I've just started off with. I haven't heard of it.
If, I'm
Yeah.
sure many have heard of Bhagavad Purana. It's one of the most, it's not one of the most, it is the most important Purana. It is known as Amala Purana. Amala. There is no Mala in it. There is nothing. It's the purest of all Puranas. And do you know who's the speaker of Bhagavad Purana?
Okay, okay. No, sir. I am not aware of it.
Bhagavad Purana is Shiva himself.
If you can let me know, I'll jot it down. I'll surely read it.
You just note down the. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam classes will happen after you finish Bhagavad Gita. As soon as you finish this, the next level is going to be Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay.
When you join there, my guru will be taking those classes.
Okay. Okay.
So what I'll just tell you something that Srimad
All right. Okay.
whom the original speaker of is Shiva, in that whole Gunagana, whole glories of the Lord are being spoken, where Shiva himself accepts that he is servant of Vishnu. He says, I am a servant of the Lord. And what is he? You have seen Shiva meditating. You have seen the paintings of Shiva meditating. What is he meditating on?
Yes, 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 sir.
You have seen Brahma.
I have no clue. I'm just a.
Yeah, Brahma is sitting with the chanting
on a lotus flower.
Books he is holding and he's closing his eyes.
Yeah.
He's sitting like this. Who is he praying to? Brahma is the creator, isn't it? Shiva. Many people consider him to be God. Yeah, he is nearly God. There is barely any difference between Vishnu and Shiva. But my question is, isn't Shiva sitting down and meditating on something or someone? So
yeah, he is. Okay.
You have to dig deeper, and in Bhagavatam it is all explained. But now I think we should stick to Bhagavad Gita studies, Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was there in text 33, sir. So that is why I just had a question. Maybe Shiva doesn't market himself the way other gods does. So, he's an ascetic. He's not bothered about what people think about him. So, maybe he's not marketing himself well.
He doesn't care what the world has to say.
Absolutely. He is in his bare minimum, sitting all alone in a recluse place.
Why is he known as an Adi Yogi? He's a yogi.
Because he came up with his 7 disciples. He taught the yoga to them. So, but then if I read multiple books, spiritual books, everybody is trying to take the credit of we brought in yoga. So, you get confused as a layman कि चल क्या रहा है? किसने करा?
Question is, what is yoga? Yoga is connection with?
Yoga is basically controlling your senses, the ever disturbing senses. It's an art.
It is one part of Yama. When we go to Dhyana Yoga, we'll be discussing that.
Okay,
Yama, Asana, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, Pratyahara, Samadhi. You're saying controlling senses is Yama. Then comes Niyama, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, Pratyahara, Samadhi. There are 8 steps. You have limited yoga to 1 step. That is a very, very tiny step. Anybody can do. Even I can control my senses for 2-3 minutes. Best way to control is close my eyes and sit like this. Done. If I close my eyes, I can't see anything. I can control my senses. Keeping your eyes open and still controlling senses is the challenging thing. Anyway, the definition of yoga when we discuss, maybe then you will understand what is Adi Yogi. Definitely, he was the first yogi, absolutely. But let's discuss what is yoga and all that in the upcoming classes. Yeah, it's getting too late now, and I don't want to. Okay, it's getting way too late. Any remaining questions can be thrown on the group, and
thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
And one of the questions in the chat was, I'm 16 years old. How old were you when you started this? I was 19 years old. You are very great. You have started at a very young age. Please keep going strong. And more questions, please, you can use the group, and let's conclude this here. Thank you for coming to today's session every day, and I'm hoping to see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, sir.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.